The first episode of ReZero is finally right around the corner, and as you can imagine, ReZero fans are not happy and they're currently arguing with each other per usual. Now, for those that are unaware, there has been an announcement which has stated that the world premiere of ReZero Season 4 is going to be in Italy on November 1st. So if you're watching this video right now, which is October the 14th, in 2 weeks or so, the first episode of Season 4 will be coming out in Italy only. In other words, this first episode is going to air before even Japan. However, initially when it was released, it was stated that the first episode of ReZero Season 4 would be extended, so 1 hour long. So the idea was that all of the fluff would be covered in the first episode, and then we could get into the meat and potatoes of Arc 6. It was then later released that actually the first episode of ReZero will be exactly 23 minutes, which you can see on screen, and the rest of the time, so the other 38 minutes, is simply going to be Emilia's voice actor answering questions. So the first episode is not extended, which is of course something which has upset ReZero fans because we were spoiled for Season 3 when we had a 1 hour 30-minute first episode. So people expected to have more content once again, but that did not happen. ReZero fans feel betrayed, like they've been headbutted in the stomach, considering that the premiere is in Italy and many people can't go there because of work-related reasons or because they may be broke. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing because we do have several people going. So Ice, for example, from Witch Cult Translations, is going, so he should be able to get us the scoop. Furthermore, like the first episode of Season 3, it might be a possibility that the episode might leak once again. For those that forgot, the first episode of Season 3 leaked several months before Season 3 actually aired. So some of you are wondering, when does ReZero Season 4 officially air? So we have this premiere. When does that anime officially come out for the rest of us plebeians who can't actually afford a ticket to Italy? So remember, there was a tweet that essentially leaked that ReZero Season 4 would air in January. And of course, there was a lot of drama about this because it was sort of, I guess, mistakenly leaked. And then Ice, using his connections, essentially confirmed that indeed it was going to come out in January. However, later on, there was an update which said that, oh, sorry, it was just a mistake. ReZero is not coming out in January, so ignore everything that you have learned. Okay, and many of us thought that it was sort of damage control. We didn't believe it, but based on this current premiere, it does seem likely that ReZero Season 4 Episode 1 will come out in January. Now, the reason why I say this, when Season 3 had its premiere, it was 2 months before the actual release date, and this premiere is in November, which when you add 2 months, you get to January, meaning that ReZero Season 4 should be coming out in 2026 January. Now, I know most of you probably don't watch Isekai Quartet, but Isekai Quartet Season 3 has come out, and of course, ReZero characters are in this alongside other Isekai characters. And of course, you can see Sid is a new addition in this season. Now, I think it's actually quite interesting, but there's a lot of drama around this season because once again, Crunchyroll are translating it, and per usual, the translations are absolutely terrible. And we saw this with ReZero Season 3 as well, and probably ReZero Season 4. The biggest mistake in this episode was Kazuma speaking to Subaru, and you can see in the image, Kazuma says, "Subaru, are you actually a boss?" When in reality what he said was, "Subaru, are you actually an amazing guy?" And for those that know, you know what that is a reference to. For those that don't know, I'm not going to spoil it because it's actually quite a big moment. So spoilers for Isekai Quartet Season 3 Episode 1, because the plot is actually getting interesting and it seems like something is actually going to be happening. What is happening is that Ainz has realized that the people in Isekai Quartet are not the original versions at all. They're simply copies. And according to his understanding, every character in the school essentially is a reflection of their real selves from their homeworlds. And essentially what happens in the main series of the anime will influence the Isekai Quartet world. So let me give you an example. In ReZero Season 3, Julius of course gets his name eaten. As a result, in Isekai Quartet, we can see that Julius is depressed. We see that Subaru has made a contract with Beatrice, so in Isekai Quartet, Beatrice and Subaru are all buddy-buddy. And they have a contract in Isekai Quartet. Ainz then says one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I'm not sure if they will actually use this, but Ainz stipulates that if the original worlds that they're from can influence them in the Isekai Quartet world, then it should be possible to do it in reverse. In other words, the stuff in Isekai Quartet can actually affect what happens in the main series of these animes. So like say, for example, if Subaru gets a power in Isekai Quartet, then that could sort of transfer to the main ReZero world. Now, I don't think that will actually happen, but it's something Ainz came up with. We also got a shot of ReZero and Emilia in their Season 4 attire. So you can see that as ReZero Season 4 is running, this is going to be concurrent. So I wouldn't be surprised if what happens in Season 4 of the anime, if that gets updated in Isekai Quartet at some point. So that will be quite interesting. And now finally, the final bits of ReZero news. We have gotten a new Tanpenshu. For those that don't know what a Tanpenshu is, it's essentially a short story collection with various side stories, and number 13 has just come out in Japan. Now you might be wondering, can I buy this in English? On screen you can see the release schedule. You can see that there are currently 3 volumes out. The third one came out in May 27th. The next one is coming out in February 2026, and that's volume 4, and we're currently on volume 13. So if you want to read this in English, you're going to have to wait until like 2030, 2033 maybe 7-8 years. So that's one of the reasons why I say don't support Yen Press, because they're very slow. It's simply not worth it. Just read the translated stories in English, because most of these stories have already been translated into English. But some of you might want to own the actual light novel. In the final news for Arc 9, because some people have messaged me asking where's the next chapter, ReZero is currently on hiatus. It will be back very soon though, keep that in mind, and it will be the final phase. Tape has stated that we are in the conclusion of Arc 9, so look forward to that. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time, so feel free to like, comment and subscribe for more ReZero content.